Alright, command school. Step 1. Beginners. What is a command block? How do you get one? I don't know. I'm just kidding. So you want to type in the chat /give @s command _ block. And that gives you a command block. I already had one, so it just gives me another one, right? So now, how do you use a command block? In this left panel, there's the hover note, which is what shows up when you hover over it with your mouse, or if you hold your finger over it on mobile or cross it, whatever, right? And then this is how you change the type of the command block. We'll go over that later. No clue what that is. That's some advanced stuff. Needs redstone means you need to power it in order for it to work. It's not just always doing its thing. That's just like how long you want it to delay and stuff. And then cancel it. Over here, these are all the @ symbols. So yeah. And then previous output. If you have the switch flicked on, that shows the previous output, right? So if I put that in there, it's not gonna know what that is. And so he's like, oh wait, that's unexpected. What is you know? And so this is the paste button right here, and then this allows you to go larger in there. So then the repeat command block is exactly the same, except when you power it, it just always goes. I think the impulse one, right? When you power it, it goes once, right? Like if I had it set to make this block air and I put a redstone block next to it, it would just do that, and then I place it like. I'd have to like re-press a button or whatever, right? But then the repeat one, if you have a redstone block on it, it's just gonna constantly make this air. All right, so I made a simple command that makes this gold block air, right? So on impulse, right? I can put it back, right? Then on repeat, so that's the difference between the two. And I think what a chain command block does is it allows you to like link those guys together and whatever, but like, you know, whatever. That's the beginner stuff done. Alright, now on to coordinate basics. I'm going to use gold blocks to mark corners, so you know. So a coordinate, when you place a block down, its coordinates, right? To find its coordinates, it's like if you were standing right here and read the coordinates up in the top left, right? If you were standing right here, that's the coordinates, and then you can put that, and it would be like if you're standing inside that block, right? So that's the coordinates of a block. Now, when you're using the set block command, that's all you need to do, right? So /set block, and then over here we can see it's -157. And then if break 157, -60, 430, right? So that selects that block, and then we can change it to, say, cyan wool, right? And you can find all the block IDs in the chat, right? So if you want cyan wool, you can see all the cyan things, like cyan candle cake, cyan glaze too, right? And then, so the coordinates are laid out like this: X, Y, Z. So X and Z are horizontal, but in different directions. So, right, like X is like that, and then Z is like going that way, so it's like a plus shape. And then Y is up and down. So whenever I refer to X, Y, and Z, just know that's what that means. And then this squiggly key, so that should be right next to your 1 on the keyboard. The squiggly key, what that does is it says the coordinate that you are at, right? So if I said /set block squiggle squiggle squiggle, right, cyan wool, right? That means the coordinate that I'm standing at for that coordinate, right? Let's say, what happens if I wanted to fill from here to here with smooth quartz, like how I did in here, but just better, right? So take the command block. That is what the /fill command is used for. So you take both coordinates in no particular order. So -156. I know this bottom layer is -60, right? So -156, -60, 426, right? And then over here, I know this is also -60, right? So -156, -60, 408. All right, guys. So I found out that each block, or some blocks, have a specific value system they use, right? So for quartz block, for example, you have to go square bracket, quote mark, chiseled type, or I think it was chiseled type, quote mark equals, quote mark smooth, quote mark square bracket, right? And then we can press that, and it fills all the way. Oh, I accidentally said 158, right? So 156, and then we get rid of all this, right? So what happens if we actually did want to fill in this area, right? So with the fill command, it is based on diagonals and opposites, right? So if I want to do a line, right? If I wanted to fill this line with redstone blocks just like that, but with the command, I do the opposite end of the line. If I wanted to fill in this area, this rectangular area with redstone blocks, I would pick the diagonal corners. If I wanted to fill a cube with redstone blocks, or like a rectangular prism, I do diagonal and then the opposite height. So if this one's down, then that one's up. If this one's up, then that one's down, right? So, and then it would fill this entire area. What if I wanted to copy this specific command block, mid-hall int. So I'd say /clone. So since this is the clone command, I have to have 2 coordinate values for the source. So if I'm only doing 1 block, then I just do the coordinate twice, right? But if not, the same rules apply as for the fill command, right? Like using the opposite corners and the diagonal, you know, whatever. Except I have to paste this in the bottom northwest corner of the area. So basically what that means is if it's 1 block, I can just, let's say I want to paste it here, right? Bam, right? And so, yeah. But if I wanted to paste, right, so prime example, for this garbage truck, right, all these command blocks are labeled with numbers. This command block is 1, right? So 1 copies this frame right here, which I made around this gold block, like that gold block, right? It copies the entire area there, right? So it's the same coordinate system, but where I'd paste it, right, if I were to paste it right on the road, right, I'd have to paste it in the bottom northwest corner. So if I wanted the bumper, or if I wanted the front end of the thing to be right here, right, I'd have to paste it in the bottom northwest corner. And I know from prior experience that it's 18 blocks long, right? And so then 18, so along this line it has to be northwest. So west, right, and then north, or west and then north. So northwest would be towards the direction of that building right there. So you'd place it right here, right, on this block, and then it would create the entire coordinate, right? So if I say -119, -55, 411, right? 119, that was the wrong key. All right. So now if I place a redstone block there, garage truck, or garbage truck, my fault, right? It is completely there, just like, and it's the bumper, or the front block is at the thing, right? So northwest corner is where it's at. So those are some beginner commands for you. All right, now we're getting into some intermediate commands, all right? So these intermediate commands, right? So first of all, we'll start off with something a little quick, right? If I were to grab this command block, and then I were to power this, the garage, or the garbage truck is right there. And then when I run the system, right? I'll show you guys the main system later, but for now, when the garbage truck breaks stuff, all these random items fall on the floor, which is kind of annoying. So in order to get rid of those, you want to say /kill @e square bracket. Square bracket is very important because @e, if you just do that on its own, it will kill every armor stand, minecart hopper, player mob, or survival mode player mob, whatever. So @e square bracket type equals item, or whatever thing you wanted. If you want to kill all zombies, right? But type equals item right there, and then it gets rid of all of them, and it provides a list in chat of how many of them you get rid of, right? So now we're going to be covering transition. The easiest way to transition from an input source to a command block, so I'm going to use a button right there. So this is our input source. I press this and stuff happens. And the easiest way to do that is like so. So I'm going to make this command block say hi in chat, right? So when I power this, it says hi in the chat, right? So the easiest way is a repeater. Or like if you had redstone, right? That's what I use in my doorbell system. So if we get rid of that, it literally powers that, right? But that command block, what that command block does is it activates something called, which I like to call the stone block system. So we're going to simulate this. So this is the doorbell, right? And let's say there was not enough room for a command block that says /say hi, right? Let's say there's just so little room and whatever. So externally, I'm going to put it right here just for the sake of whatever, right? So we're going to place this, and we're going to say /say hi. So then we're going to put in this command block, it doesn't matter what coordinates this is, /set block, squiggle, squiggle, 1 squiggle. That means 1 block above the command block, stone. When it's powered, it provides a redstone pulse. And then we set block using the coordinates, so, right? So when I press this, /say hi, right? So that's what this is. I have this set up so that it flickers the lamp, and then at night, the lamp would be on, right? Like so, right? So it looks like it's like flickering. So what it does is this all does the flickering stuff with the set block command. So it quickly sets block from redstone lamp to black stained glass, right? Whatever. And then this sets the redstone block here, which sets it to stone, and then it goes back and forth in a loop. The on and off switch uses the repeating command blocks. So let's say when I press this button, I want a light represented here. Let's say I want that light to turn on and off when I press the button. Like I press the button and it turns off. I press the button again and it turns on, right? That's what all the light switches in the house are using. Where blue is starting, orange is end, and green is whatever the command block does, right? So this could be as far away as you want, as long as this button is within render distance, right? So you want to have 2 lines. You want to take a command block, make it repeating, and label it on. Take another command block on here, label it repeating, label it off, right? And take a comparator. So comparators are super fancy and they do stuff that I don't even know, right? But for command blocks, they take the output. So if this does its job, then it gives a comparator output, and then a repeater, right? We're going to hook this up to look for that button using test4 command. This is an intermediate level command. So we say /test4 block. So we're looking for a block, right? And we put the coordinate, right? And we're looking for polished blackstone button, which the ID for that is polished flagstone button, right? And then we're going to say square bracket, quote mark, facing underscore direction, quote mark, equals, and then we just mess around with it until something happens, right? So we're going to put a redstone block on it so it can actually work. So, okay, so that is direction 2 right there. It just depends on where it's facing. I don't know. I just kind of put like 2. Okay, that didn't work. 3. Okay, that didn't work. 4. Oh, that's the one, right? So then you want to press Control middle click to copy paste that and put it here because we're going to use the exact same command and then relabel it to on. We're going to put that right there. And then, right, so we're good there. And then we're going to want to have green and then 4 blocks of orange. So what we do is we place repeaters on 4 ticks on all of these, every other block, leaving the last one open, right? And then we take a command block and we say, so for turning it on, we say, so slash set block to these coordinates, ochre froglet, right? And we put that right here. And then I personally like to make this yellow stained glass when it's off, so I'll do that over here, like so, right? And so that's the on and off. And then you're gonna take this command block and you're gonna say, okay, so first off, you're gonna find out how many blocks it is from here to this air gap right here. So, and in what direction it's going. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 blocks in the negative x direction. So even though it's counting up from 59 to 60, it's in the negative, so it's going further negative. So you want to say slash set block, squiggle, -4, squiggle, squiggle, air. So if I place something here, right, if I power this, it just goes away. And then copy that because it'll be the same thing. It's still going back 4 blocks, right? And then put it here and say 6, so it's at the same block, right? So because see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And then find out in what direction you have to go to get to this block. So 1, 2. So that's +2 on the Z. So we just put a 2 right there. And in these, we're going to change this. So it says unlit redstone torch. And then we say torch facing direction equals, and then for this one we can't do just numbers, sadly. We have to say quote mark and then whatever direction. I think this is facing west. And then we power it, hopefully. Yeah, so it placed one on there. So then I'm literally just going to copy paste this and then change it from 2 to -2, like so. And then it should work now. So whenever I press this button, so what happens is both of these are detecting the redstone, and since this one has the torch on it, both of them power, but since this one has the torch, it powers it. So it says, so this one is off, right? So it says, okay, make that one yellow glass. And then it says, okay, get rid of the torch, and then put a torch on this one. So then when you press it again, it powers it and does the same thing, except when you switch from this one, right? So that's what literally all of my light switches in my house are. Just make sure not to destroy the button, because it will do that. So this is what's known as a 2-input system, so it doesn't even have to be a light switch. So this is the command block I have for the garage door, which copy, instead of like doing just a generic set block command, it does the /clone command for all these, so it copy pastes the garage door, which I'll get to in the animations section of the video. And then, right, so if I put those there, and then I go in the garage door, right, when I press the button, door closes. Press the button, door opens. So that is a binary input system. So it's on off, so that's 2. So 2 is binary, like bicycle, so 2. So yeah. And then in order to reduce lag, make a /clone or /set block or whatever command that turns the things off. Because if it's on always active, then, or if the redstone block's always there, then it's gonna be super laggy, right? So now I'm gonna show you how to make a multi-input system, right? That's what I use for the school bus, which comes up later. So basically what it is you have the block that does something, right? In this case, for Monday, it sets a redstone block right here. And then it powers the school bus, and then it has a timer, and then it powers the garbage truck, right? So on Monday it does that. So and then it goes through, and this command block copies with the /clone command Tuesday. So it says, okay, /clone -124, 60, 464, -124, 60, 467, right? So it copies that up to here, and then for Tuesday it activates the school bus right over there, and then copies Wednesday. And Wednesday it activates the school bus and copies Thursday. Thursday it copies the school bus, or activates the school bus, copies Friday. Friday it copies the school bus and activates Saturday. Saturday has a redstone block, which means it doesn't do anything, which makes sense because the school bus is not supposed to come on the weekends. So it just clones Sunday, which the school bus is not supposed to come on the weekends. And then Sunday clones Monday, which brings back the school bus and the garbage truck, right? So that's how to do a multi-input system. You can do anywhere from 3. I would recommend doing this from anywhere from 3 up until, you know, however much you have space for. Oh, and also quick note, I'd recommend building this more underground than I have, because if I wanted to build anything over this, it would be kind of annoying. So just, yeah, go down. But yeah, let's get on to the more advanced commands. Alright guys, so if you're here now, then you're one of the smarties, right? So we're going to be learning about the test for and about the test for and camera commands. right? So test 4 is a repeating command block, or you can do it whenever, right? So repeating, if it's impulse, then you just press a button and then it says if somebody's there or not. So what you want to do is repeating and then comparator. So you want to say /test4, right? So that's say, okay, we're looking for something, and then we say @p, so the nearest player, or what I did for the camera commands in my house is I said @a, so that means anybody. If anybody steps over there, then it does stuff. You can put specific coordinates, but they have to be laid out in a certain way, right? So if I wanted to say right here, right? So x equals the coordinate, comma, y equals the coordinate, comma, z equals the coordinate, comma, dx equals 0. So for this one, negative 38, 492. All right. X equals negative 38, no spaces. Oh, sorry. Negative 38, no spaces, comma, no spaces. Y equals negative 60, comma. Z equals, I think it was 492. All right. Z equals 492, comma, dx equals 0. No clue what the dx does, but it makes it work. Right? And when you place the thing up here, whenever you stand on it, it lights up. So that's how I use all my, or that's how I activate all the entrance-based cameras in my thing. You'll learn about that later in the video. And then the camera command, so that's what I used both inside my house and for my MCBC newsroom, right? Let me just set that there. So I had it so that when I press this button right here, it makes the camera. Then when I press the button here, I get rid of the camera. So what the camera command does is you say /camera, obviously, and then you select your target, so it could be the creator 13, right? Or it could be, what I have it set to in the house is the nearest player, right? And then set, so there's a bunch of different items, right? So clear gets rid of it, so that's what the button that I had to get rid of it is. It's just /camera @p clear, right? Fade, I don't know what the fade ones are, and then set and then pause are the one that I use. So set, and then I like to do Minecraft free. And then if you want to add a transition, it's ease, and then the amount of time you want, so I could do 0.1 seconds. Linear, no clue what that does, but you have to add it. And then position, so that's the position, not the position the player's in, the position you want the camera in. We want the camera to be, because the camera is 1 block, so it would be as if I was 1 block tall standing here, alright? So 149, negative 58, 170. And then we can also make it face a direction using facing, and then the block we want it to be facing. So I can say I want it to face this block, right? So I can say 149, 178. There we go. Right? And so it faces, you have to do some adjustments with the y coordinates, but it faces there, and then it also adds that nifty little transition. But another thing you can do is repeat, right? And I'm gonna have this say facing instead of the player. I'm gonna have it face me. And so what I do is when I activate that, it always faces me, no matter where I go, right? Right? So I walk around, it always faces me. And the ease makes it so it's a smooth transition, right? And then I can break that, and camera clear. Bam! You guys are champs. You made it through command school. Let's go.